Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and I'm here to share with you all the crafty makes that I've been doing since the last time I did a video. If you're new here, like I said, my name's Rachel. Everywhere that you can find me on the internet is listed in the description box below. I mainly do English paper piecing, quilting, hand sewing, but also a little bit of knitting and crochet more recently. I've got a new phone and it's very strange, so don't know if I'm looking into the camera when I look here or do I need to look here. It's just difficult to know. So I do apologise if I'm not looking in the right direction or I'm constantly looking over. I do apologise. So yes, last time I uploaded a video was when I went to the Festival of Quilts and the bits and pieces that I bought from there. So thank you so much for all your love and support. I think there's quite a few new people on the channel since those videos. So hello everyone, it's really good to have you here. Truth be told, I haven't had time to do that much crafting. I've had a new puppy. She's almost 8 months old now, but she's come into her first season the last couple of weeks, so she's been quite needy, so I haven't been able to get much out and have my crafting on my lap. And I've been really busy in my business. For any of you that don't know, I have a personalisation business where I sell embroidered kids and baby clothes mainly. Now, so to begin with then, we'll split it down into sections. I'll do some quilting that I've been doing, but then also the knitting and crochet. Okay, so the first thing that I've been working on is this panel that I purchased from the Festival of Quilts. I don't know if this new phone is going to make it backwards. I think it is. So it says "Sewing Mends the Soul," and I've just started on the zip here. If I turn it around, you'll be able to see it. That's the design. And I'm just using DMC thread for this. I think I'm using 2 strands. Yes, 2 strands of DMC thread for that. There is quite a bit left to go. So it's a very large panel. What I'm going to do is do some patchwork around the edge in red and white. So then it's turn into a full quilt then. I haven't yet purchased the fabric to do the patchwork around the edge because it is quite slow going doing all of that red work, and it might take me some time, so I don't always like sitting on fabric. Well, I do. I don't know what I'm saying. I like buying fabric with no purpose, but when it comes to buying the materials that I know that I need, I struggle to buy them. But no, my main issue is that I'm not very good at finishing my projects. I really like the excitement of starting a project and the inspiration that comes when you start a project. And I watched a video that Emma Jones did this week, and she said that she really loves the excitement and the commitment that comes with a long-term project. And that's me, but I struggle to actually finish anything. So yes. So that's the first project. The second project that I've been working on quite a lot is my 1/2-inch hexagons, which is here, and I'll get that down for you and show you closer up in a moment. I've started joining some of my pieces together because I'd been making them in sections sort of this size, and then I've joined them together, so you can see that it's grown in quite an organic nature. It does have a right angle here because when I first started doing the project, I was doing it in lines, you know, piecing it all together in lines, but I soon realised that I don't like doing that. I like piecing the flowers and then flowers to flowers, you know, the little round rosettes. So I like doing that, so it grows a little bit more organically when you do it in that way. So I do need to work on filling it in, so let me just get it down for you. So here is what it looks like close up. And I'm just using a off-white thread to join this, a polyester thread. And I just love the back. Does anyone else love the back of English paper piecing just as much as the front? I do. And all I'm using here is scraps mainly. I purchased a lot of scraps from the Festival of Quilt, so I'm just mixing those in along with the scraps that I accumulate from projects. But yeah, I'm not accumulating scraps that fast at the moment because I'm not doing that much. Now, the next project that I've been working on is actually this project here, which is going to be a machine pieced Scrappy log cabin quilt. Now, I actually started this before I went to the Festival of Quilts because I told myself that I can't go to the Festival of Quilts and buy more fabric if I've still got loads. So I told myself I'd start and finish a quilt like 2 weeks before I went, and that obviously didn't happen. It was summery at the time that I started it, so it's quite springy colours, but it's just all the scraps that I absolutely love. And I've just cut them into strips. I think I might have done 1.5 inch strips, so then they come out to be 1 inch. Some of them just need ironing. It's the first time I've done a log cabin block, so I was really happy with how they turned out. I wasn't being too fussy if some of them ended up wonky, because I know, you know, with log cabin you can do it perfectly square or you can do it intentionally slanted and positioned slightly different, but I tried to get it as straight as possible, but I wasn't being too particular. This here is a piece of my mum's old pyjamas. They've been in lots and lots of projects, those pyjamas have. And I've also got some that are just in various stages. You know, I'm just starting and doing it, starting blocks and just adding and adding and adding. I have decided on a measurement, and one of them is the correct measurement. I think it might be 8.5. But like I say, I haven't touched this project since before I went to the Festival of Quilts. So some of the details are eluding me at the moment. So I am sorry about that. And I just chain piece them all together so they're like a nice piece of bunting. But yeah, what I intend to do with this quilt, let me put a picture here. This is what my inspiration is going to be. So it's going to have white edging, and then do they call it corner posts, where you have a square in between? So that's my ambition for this quilt. I would like to get it finished by the spring, seeing as it is a machine piece quilt. You can get it done a little bit faster, can't you? The normal person can. This is just turning into a confession of never finishing any projects, so I do apologise about that. Right, so what I have been doing is pulling out some of my older projects and working on them a few at a time, and I've decided to do that with some of my knitting and crochet projects. The main reason being is because most Christmases, me, my mum and my sister, we crochet a blanket together. So it's a nice tradition that we've started. It's just me and my mum this year. I have started it and I will show you, but I was also thinking I need to get some of my other projects done and made into blankets. So the first project that I've added quite a bit onto is my Battenberg blanket. Again, it's growing in an organic way. That would make a good thumbnail. So I'm not using scraps for this project. I'm using balls that I purchased, and I really like the texture of the back. Sorry, it's blowing out a little bit. Yeah, I really like the ridge detail. So again, that's just growing organically, and it is quite a good blanket project because you sew it all together, you know, joining it as you go along. I can just sit on the sofa and just do a few squares, and you don't have to have the whole blanket on your lap, which is quite good, and I like that. The dog is also appreciating that because she can sit on my lap at the same time. She's very much a lap dog at the moment with being in season, so I'm not sure how that will go through the winter. The second crochet blanket that I've been working on is just quite a simple pattern. It's just a V-stitch in crochet, and I've been using fluffy yarn. This is JC Brett Flutter by Yarn. This was the first blanket that I've ever started. I've done quite a few crochet blankets since, so it's not as neat around the edge. I do intend to put a border on because I think my tension changed from when I first started. But what I've been doing is when I pick up an old project, I've been putting a stitch marker on, and then anything above that, I know that, you know, you feel a bit of a sense of achievement, don't you? Because with a blanket, you can just feel like you're going and going and going. So I put a stitch marker, and that's how much I've done recently, and it is a good size. Yeah. And I'm just alternating it, and all I think I'm going to do is do the body of the blanket until I will run out of yarn. I think I've only used 2 balls so far, and then I'll purchase some for the border, I think, depending on how big it is and if I want it to get bigger. Now this one is another project. I have shown it you previously, but this is a knitted blanket rather than crocheted. And anyone who's followed my channel for a while, I do really want to teach myself how to knit socks. So I thought, right, I knitted a scarf that was quite successful, I would say, and then I thought, let me knit a blanket. I guess that's a long-term commitment compared to a pair of socks, but I really wanted to have lots of practice at my tension and things like that. So I've started knitting a blanket, and this is just a knitted chevron. I have got it on circular needles at the moment, so that's why it's curling. But you can see I'm quite happy with my stitches. There's a few areas where I've gone wrong. Let me see if I can find one. Oh, that stitch has gone wrong. But I mean, it does look bad on the camera. I was going to say in real life you can't even notice it. I think there's somewhere else. Yeah, I think something's gone wrong with the green stitch and just general area there. But what I'll do is once it's all done, I'll just block it out, and hopefully lots of people who knit say when I block it you can't tell. So I hope that's the case for me as well. Now the yarn that I'm using here is the Carnival yarn from Hobie. I think that is reversing, so it didn't used to reverse on my old camera, so I'm going to have a go at turning that off. I think you can switch that off. So yeah, I really like that. So learning to knit socks is a real sentimental thing to me because I lost both of my nans early this year, and that's why I've also turned to a little bit more of knitting and crochet rather than quilting, because they were both knitters and it just helps me feel really connected to them. And I did ask them both, they're passed very close together, I did ask them both to knit socks for me and they didn't get the chance. So I'd really love to knit some socks. Now the Christmas project that I've started with my mum, I'll show you now. But this is in a handmade project bag, which I made myself. It's just a quilted bag. And this was just a pattern that I followed from Erica Arnott here on YouTube. It's got a boxed bottom, and I just thought really lovely fabric, and it's just lined with just a polka dot that I had in stash. Doesn't quite go, the pinks aren't the same, but I just wanted to use what I had in my stash. Now this blanket that I'm doing, I'll show you a picture here. It's a crochet pattern using the mosaic crochet technique, and it's by Rosina Plain, and it's called Ho Ho Ho, as you can probably tell because of the ho ho ho. And this is how far I've gotten. I've opted to do a modern colourway, which is teals. I think there's a dark blue, almost navy but not as dark as navy. It might be a teal, a royal blue, a fuchsia pink, and then I've done it off-white instead of stark white. And these stitch markers here are just to mark my pattern repeats. And then all you do, if you haven't done mosaic crochet, you tie these together in pairs, and then she does a border that encases them. It's called an envelope border, and this is what the back looks like. So the back forms a really nice pattern. It's curling a little bit just because of the technique that you use. So the back looks quite good as well. So I'll continue to update you on that. My mum is doing a different colourway, and she's doing a slightly larger blanket, and I just thought I need to be realistic and just commit to a smaller lap blanket. Now that's pretty much the end. I'm just looking around. I think it's the end of the projects that I've been working on recently, but I am trying to have a more concerted effort to just work on 1 or 2 projects, so I can progress further. Because if you do a little bit here and a little bit there, and you're only doing, you know, an hour a night, you don't make much progress on anything. So I need to be more strict with myself. So I'm sorry that this video has just been me confessing. That's what these videos are, aren't they? I do have a section that I'm going to show you now of bits and pieces that I've purchased, because I'm trying to work on stash and reduce the whips that I've got. I'm not purchasing that much. That is going to be my New Year's resolution, to finish my whips. There's a few things that I want to start for Christmas presents, but next year, full on, gonna work on my stash and my current whips, because 2 years ago I subscribed to 2 subscriptions for quilts, one for English paper piecing and one for hand applique, and I haven't even got halfway through them yet, and they're to make full quilts, like double king size quilts. So I need to get my butt into gear, get those done. It's just money, isn't it, that you're just sitting on otherwise. So moving on to purchases. I've finally purchased some sock needles. I think I've got the right ones. I want to do them on small circular needles. I don't have an issue with circular needles, and I hope I'll be okay holding them in my hand. I was trying to get the Addy Sock Wonders, because people were saying that one side of the needle is bigger than the other. But then I saw Little Workroom Craft. She says she purchased these zinc needles, and it's the same thing. This one's slightly longer than this one. So I purchased those. I bought the exact ones that you said, Davina, on your video, so I hope they're right. I don't know when I'll try these. I did want to try and knit my mum a pair of socks for Christmas, but I don't think you can gift your first pair of socks, can you? So I don't know when I'll get around to using these. And then I bought some DPNs in the exact same size, 2.5 millimeters, to do the heel, I think. So I think I'm all set to go when I want to. And secondly, I've also started purchasing the Rainbow Chronicles from Lay Family Yarn. So this is the September pack that she's bought out, and I've never had any hand-dyed yarn before, and this is amazing. Let me just open it and show you a couple of the colours. I just can't believe how soft this feels. Like a frump marshmallow. If you're in the UK, you might know what that is. Those are just beautiful. I'm going to do a rainbow blanket with these. I'm thinking of doing a northeasterly knitted blanket with them. I've saw So Sweet Violet, she's done a beautiful one, but I don't think it was with the Sock Chronicles. I think she's just dipped into her stash for hers. I initially thought that if I did a rainbow blanket, I would go each month. So this month is the pink. I would go from light pink up to bright pink or dark pink. But I think there's too many lights here. I think you'd have to do it in a sort of, almost like what it's like in the pack, but spreading out the lights and the darks a little bit. Because you couldn't do a gradient. I don't think there's too many lights, especially for this month. but we'll see. I'm going to wait a couple of months, maybe till after Christmas, get my Christmas blanket out of the way, and then also I'll be able to see other people's purchases, makes. Thinking about it now, I think she's going to release it on the 1st of the month, and it's the 2nd today, so I do need to get on and purchase that. But this one's only just come. So there we have it. I think that's pretty much everything that I've been up to. You can follow me over on Instagram. I am going to start trying to post some more photos on there of my makes and things. But yeah, let me know down in the comments which was your favourite project, and if you've made it this far, thank you so much, and once again a big hello to everyone who's new here on the channel. Bye.